Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Hi, my loves. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Ava. It's still your girl, Luatomi Singh, and I'm glad to have you in my space. Yeah. Today I would be talking about wishes versus realities, part 2. In the last episode, it went a little bit personal, where I spoke about wanting what somebody has without knowing the origin of whatever the person has, and that was a bit personal, yeah. But today, I'll still be talking about wishes versus reality in our lives. So many times, I found out that life doesn't really go the way I planned or the way I wanted to, and most times it's often it usually messes with my head, because why can't it go the way it's supposed to go? Why can't it just go the way I planned? But I'm not in control of my life. I'm not in control of circumstances. The only thing I can do is make choices based on the circumstances I have. Yeah. And it can be frustrating, it can be annoying, it can be plenty things. I don't know, synonyms. They are not coming to my head right now. But it can be really frustrating when you already envision a path for yourself and your life is not just going the way you planned it. For example, in this Agbado economy, please, I'm not even about going there, but growing up, I always thought that being an adult was going to be sweet and blissful, and I would have a lot of money and friends, and I'll just, finish school with a good grade, get a good job, and, start flexing, then probably marriage will come in somewhere along the line. But then I finished school a year after I was supposed to. I'm serving a year after I was supposed to. Hey, God, I beg. And, everything is not just going according to the plan. If I had known that it was going to be this way, I would just have taken my time to enjoy my childhood. But we can't reverse time. So except you know how to reverse time, please let me know. So yeah, that is one example of what we wished for versus what is currently happening. And not just about childhood and adulthood, even in this current adulting thing, things still doesn't go as planned. You can find yourself envisioning or planning towards a specific timeline, and suddenly you just blink and find out that it's not going to happen that way. Life will just tell you, joker. But what can we do? That is what I'm going to talk about today. So what are the things we can do when our life is not going as planned? Please note, I'm not an expert. I'm just giving my opinions based on my research. First thing is, don't give up immediately. Yes, it can be frustrating when you've already planned and it's not going the way it's supposed to go, but please don't give up immediately. Yeah, you can try again. Second, take a minute to yourself. I finally learned how to do this thing. When if things are not going according to how I planned it, I just dump it for a minute and take a breather, because it's not me that my mental health will be in chaos. Nope. I value my mental health above all of that. So if life wanna get crazy, just hold on a moment. I'll be with you shortly. Let me just, get my saneness on, and I'll come back to meet you. Too crazy cannot make. Yeah. So just take a minute to yourself. If it's for you to leave that thing for a short while and get back to it, please do that. But don't just jump into it immediately. And you can, if you know it works for you, and you do fine. But if you know your mental health is like mine, that needs to take a break first, please take a break, then go back. Thirdly, recognize that perfection doesn't equal accomplishment. The fact that something is perfect does not mean it is an accomplishment. Nah, it doesn't. So it can be good looking, perfect, but then it is not even a groundbreaking thing. So it is fine, it is okay for you not to be perfect. Perfection is boring, really. I like the way I am with my flaws and everything. Fine, I'm working on my flaws though, but yeah, I like it this way. I don't want to be perfect. It's too big a burden. So perfection is not an accomplishment. judgment. Another thing is seek out others for support. No one is an island on his own. Seek out others. There are people around you for a reason. So if it is emotional support, if it is physical support, if it is mental support, if it is whatever support you need at that point in time, reach out to others. I find it hard to reach out to people. Yeah, I find it hard because it feels like I'm inadequate. But I am learning that reaching out does not mean I am weak or vulnerable. It simply means that I can't do it. I need assistance. Simple. So if somebody, or if you know somebody that has the ability to help you out of that situation you are in, please reach out. Swallow your pride. Yeah, it can be sometimes too big to swallow, but just swallow it. Yeah, another thing to know is that life happens and it isn't always about us. Life doesn't revolve around us. It would happen. It can go good, it can go bad, and sometimes it can be somewhere in between. But life really happened, and it's not about what you did or what you didn't do sometimes. Another thing is misfortune is common. I think misfortune is not exactly the right word, but let's manage it. Everybody has one thing or the other they are going through in their lives. And while people don't necessarily look like what they are going through or what they've been through, it doesn't mean that they've not been through it or they are not going through it. So you are not the only one facing crisis. Maybe crisis is not the word. Challenges. Okay, I think that's better in your life. So I feel like, or nowadays, when I speak to people about some things, I just discovered that people are kind of going through similar things, but it doesn't mean they are not going through it. So the fact that they'll post on social media and you meet them and they're smiling, they're laughing, doesn't mean that they are not going through shit. They actually are. So don't feel discouraged. It's not just you. There are a lot of others, which does not mean you should console yourself or you should be happy that somebody is going through something that is probably more difficult than what you're going through. But it's just to let you know that, see, you're not alone in this thing. Then another thing is do what you need to do. Regardless of how hard it is, if there is something that needs doing, please do it. Okay, do it. Then please don't hold back on your emotions. When life is not going the way you figure it is supposed to, don't hold back on your emotions. Don't start keeping your emotions in. Look for an outlet to vent. If it is talking to somebody, if it is boxing, if it is listening to music or dancing or cooking or writing or sleeping, please go on, do it. But just don't hold it in. You can be angry, you can be frustrated, you could be disappointed. I feel like you should experience the emotion, experience whatever it is, so that you won't just hold it in and later on you burst when your holding in capacity is filled up. I feel like there's going to be background noise. I'm sorry, I'm outside, I'm not in a quiet place, but I just needed to record. Okay, another thing is practice self-compassion, and this is very important because many times when things don't go the way I plan, or when I feel things are not going the way I planned, I begin to hate myself. I begin to feel like I'm useless and all of that. And yeah, which is why I said find an outlet to vent, because when I begin to feel like that, I have this, my friends are amazing, truthfully, I can brag about that one. So I have friends that I can just call or message or drop a voice note and tell them, this is the way I'm feeling, I feel like I'm useless and I really hate myself at this point. And fine, they might not be able to do anything about my feelings, but they're able to like talk me through that feeling. Yeah, but try to be compassionate with yourself. Try to find a way to love yourself even in that situation. I don't know how you do it, honestly, but just try to figure it out. I feel like it's different strokes for different folks. What works for me might not work for you. So if you are not able to talk to people, there is something else you'll be able to do that would help you be self-compassionate. And another thing is try to practice self-responsibility. Don't push the blame on somebody else. Take charge of your life. It's your life. Nobody else can live it for you. Nobody else is responsible for your life except you. So just try to practice self-responsibility. Now, what are the things you are not to do? Number one, don't blame others. if you are to take the blame for how things went, please take it. Nobody else did it for you. You did it yourself. It might be the choices you made or the choices you didn't make that put you in that situation, but don't blame others, because blaming others is toxic. It creates this feeling of resentment, and at the point a feeling of irresponsibility in you. Then another thing is, don't distract yourself from your emotions. Don't hold your emotions in. I've said this before, don't hold your emotions in. Find a way to let those negative emotions out. Don't let it breed in you. Then don't engage in habits that promote escapism. Now, when you are holding emotions in, you'd find yourself doing things that you're just trying to distract yourself from that emotion. Please don't do that. Let the emotion express itself. That's why it is there. Feel it. You might not enjoy it at that point, but feel it. It's going to strengthen your resolve to, do better. I'm saying this from experience, but don't worry about the experience. I know I'm saying it from experience. Yes. Then don't overwork. When things are not going the way you plan and then you throw yourself into work, you burn out, which is not a good thing, because the same feeling you don't want to feel, then you still end up feeling it. And don't be alone with your thoughts. This is very important. When you start feeling overwhelmed about things not going the way it's supposed to go in your life, please don't be alone with your thoughts. Don't lock yourself in and just stay there and start thinking. A lot of crazy thoughts are going to come to your head, and when you keep staying alone with those thoughts, you might carry them out, and trust me, the result is not going to be memorable. Might be memorable, that's if you're able to come out of it, but don't be alone with your thoughts. When negativity breeds, there are thoughts of suicide and a lot of dangerous thoughts, really, and it's not really a good thing. Then don't emotionally drink water and mind your business. Agreed, but don't emotionally drink. Don't go and get alcohol and drink. Will it help? Yes, only for a little while, because when you come out of your drunkenness, you are going to find yourself in that same situation, and you're destroying your liver, or is it kidney? I don't even know, but at this point you are destroying your internal organs. So don't emotionally drink. Life is hard. I always say this. Life is hard. Life is tough. Life is show you shaggy, but that's why it is called life. And the best you can do is find a way to work around it. Things would definitely not always go as you planned, but that does not mean you should give up. That does not mean you should give in. It only means you should do better, be better. That is all. And please don't hurt yourself, because life is not going as planned. Life will never go as planned. Even if you have what's it called, this Aladdin's, I can't remember, but even if you had magic or something to make things go as planned, because it is life, it will still not go as planned. You are going to make choices that are going to make or mar your choices again, or your option. But please remember these things I've said. Don't give up, don't give in, try to rest, experience the emotion, reach out to people. That's why they are in your life. If they were not in your life, then you can say, okay, you cannot reach out, but you have people in your life. And don't drink, don't stay alone with your thoughts, and don't try to run away from your emotions. So this is where I'm going to draw the curtain. There's no curtain really, but metaphorical curtain or figurative curtain. Please. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and share. I appreciate you and I love you. All right, to the next episode. Bye.